Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you about what I call past life payback. So that's to do with the widespread belief that you'll get punished in this life for the transgressions of the past, and I'm here to tell you that's an absolute load of codswallop. So there is this common feeling that somehow if we had a really bad past life or if we've just done stupid stuff in past lives, that we will be punished for them in the next life. We have to carry it forward and pay back. Really is not true at all. So, what I'm going to say here, I'm going to put this at the beginning because it doesn't matter if you know what your past lives are or that you do know some of them. Most people know, if you're spiritually minded, will know maybe one or two. Sometimes you know more. Sometimes you don't know any at all. It's totally normal. It's quite a hard one to get to know unless you have particular skills. But it doesn't matter. The same thing applies because what we tend to do is we tend to carry it forward and we tend to find this feeling like we are being punished for stuff. Now that is normally to do with what we believe we deserve in this life, so therefore we make these things happen. So it's about a learning from a past life that we then got to carry forward. But what I can tell you is that in doing my work with people's energies, I have never ever been shown that a person deserves what's happening in this life because of what they've done in a previous life. There is never a sense of punishment. It's merely complete compassion and understanding from spirit. In fact, one of the last things they want you to do is carry forward the mistakes of the past life. They actually want you to start this fresh life and go with that, not keep dragging stuff forward. They get quite frustrated at times because we tend to do this. I think it's a societal thing that we learned, that we then sort of feel like we've got to do this, and we keep doing it over lifetime after lifetime. So actually, what can happen is that most damage can be done in this life by bringing forward the mistakes of the past lives and assuming you deserve to be punished by them, for them, should I say. For that's when you start to draw negative experiences to you purely for the sake of punishing yourself, and there's absolutely no reason to do so. Yes, you're going to have lessons that you've got to learn in life, and often those are lessons we have to go through time and time and time again. So they will be things that will keep cropping up in your life over and over again, but that's to do with this life. Until we learn the lessons of this life, we'll keep repeating the same mistakes. But that isn't to do with past lives. The lessons of this life are there to help you grow and expand. They're not as punishment. They are here to grow, make you grow and expand, and to get to know yourself as a person and to really stand in your own energy and flourish. So if anything ever feels like it's just there to punish you, 9 times out of 10 it's because you think that you need to deserve to be punished, not because that's what you're expected to do in this life. In this life, we are here to grow and learn and expand and do better and be better people and to make better choices. So there is a certain amount of learning from that past life, but not about being punished for it. So how do you let go of the pain of your previous lives so you don't carry them around as punishment? First thing, learn self-forgiveness and understanding of others to a really deep level. Now, the understanding of others to a deep level does not mean you have to forgive people who don't deserve to be forgiven and who've harmed you. It doesn't mean allowing others to ride roughshod over you. And that can be both in sort of physical people but also spirits, because if you're a medium in any capacity, you know who I'm talking to, then there is a tendency to think that you've got to take on all of their stuff as well. You don't. You can still keep your boundaries. You don't have to run roughshod over by having compassion and understanding of others at a really deep level. You don't have to accept it just because you understand why they did what they did, no matter who that is. You can understand someone's reasoning and why it happened without agreeing with it, without agreeing with the decisions they made, without agreeing with the way they treated you or treat you. So understanding of others means that you can see why someone has got to where they are and know that they were or are probably trying to do the best they could with circumstances that they found themselves in. Doesn't mean you have to forgive them or allow them to continue to hurt you. It's simply about acknowledging their path, understand that they have had to walk a very different path to you, and still maintain your boundaries as to what you will and won't accept in your life. That level of understanding is not something that can be taught. I couldn't sit here and give you a description as to how to do that. It's something you simply have to begin and learn and learn and learn. So you start. And that start with a simple thing. Start with a person who it's relatively easy to understand their motivation. Then you work forward from that and you understand and you give them compassion for that decision they made, even if it's not what you would have done in that situation. Because you've got to remember that each life that person lives is unique to that person. So the circumstances they have experienced is unique to them, regardless of what we can look at from the outside. We could see someone from one particular background, certain life experiences, and assume they will do a certain thing. We can do exactly the same for another person in a completely different life circumstances and make assumptions about what they would do. We can also judge them based upon what the decisions they made in that circumstances. But if you put that second person in the first person's life, they might also have made those decisions too. So it's about understanding that whilst maintaining your boundaries. You don't know that you would have done differently if you'd been in that situation. So yeah, it's that compassion, that understanding. So once you can accept that, you can then that then gives you the opportunity to see your past lives differently, because that then gives you the compassion of to knowing that you were also that person in those life circumstances that made a decision based upon what you thought was the right thing at that time, based upon your life experiences, upon what you knew and what you were trying to achieve. So people tend to make decisions either to try and get some happiness, to escape from pain, to escape from fear, to achieve something that they for the people that they love. There's such a massive range of reasons why people make decisions. And unless you're in that situation, you don't know. And that applies to your past life too. So you could have been a mass murderer in a previous life. But those decisions were made in that situation by that life, in that person in that life, not by the person you are now. And yes, what they might have done might have been horrendous, but it is not who you are now. You are a completely different person. You have part of that energy and part of those lessons, but you are not the person at that time. And if you can stop judging yourself for the decisions of your past lives, and also the decisions of your past in this life, and things that you wish you had done differently, then that compassion for your past lives comes into play. And that then allows you to free yourself from that feeling of you need to be punished for those things, because you can see it as a separate thing. You have to be compassionate to the person who made those decisions, and accept that they are part of your past. So they will always be part of your past history, but they are not you. So, as I said before, you don't need to know the ins and outs of past lives and what you did and what you didn't do. You might know nothing, you might know maybe about one or two, you might know more than that. And those can come to you in lots of different ways. That knowledge can come to you in lots of different ways. It can come to you in like flashes of knowledge. It can come to you in feelings of knowing this before, or feeling very at home in a particular place. It can come to you in dreams. It can come to you in meditations. It can come to you in all sorts of contexts. There are lots of ways of finding out about past lives. But you don't have to know any of that. So in giving those past lives compassion, the way to do so is to find ways in your current life to send that energy back to that past life. So you can do that via meditation, you can do that via ritual, you can do that in just everyday life things. So it can be taking a couple of minutes to sit and watch a candle or an incense smoke climb up, watch the clouds in the sky, sit and watch an insect, anything. And by connecting with that energy of that you're looking at, that you're spending just those couple of minutes at, you can send that compassion back to that past life and go, I appreciate everything you've been through and everything you had to endure. and I understand that those decisions you made were what you thought was the right decision at the time. Something as simple as that. You can be more complex, it can be even simpler if you want to. You can literally just send an energy ball of love and compassion back to your past life, and just envelop that past life energy in that ball of acceptance. Meditations, you can meet your past lives and you can work through it with them. When I do energy treatments, I often work with people's past lives, and that then normally involves me in a form of almost counselling session with them to help them understand what happened and why it happened, and to see the ways that they can make it that better in the energy of that time. So you'll never undo what they did, but that compassion and that understanding can help them release some of the poison that sits when we make decisions that we later regret. So that's the key part, really. So self-compassion for other people, but that also then comes to compassion for yourself, which then gives compassion and understanding to your past lives, and then you send that back to that past life as an acceptance and understanding. But you need to get that real deep sense of compassion first, because it's very easy to say it and pretend it, but unless we feel it really deep down and really truly understand it, it doesn't do the same. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you can start the process of letting go any of the baggage that you carried through from past lives, which is no longer serving you. It's now time to go and live your life in the joy and expansion and learning that you were sent here for. Bye bye.